Hello, 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 magic makers. It is Bronlee from, now I'm going to start saying STARR Collective because now is the time that a star is born officially on the airwaves, on social media, on Facebook. It's official. I'm actually a little nervous at this point, I have to say. I'm feeling a little nervous is probably the best way to put it, because this just means so much. I've just got this, I kind of feel, I think how, performers would feel before they go on stage and just belt out their favorite song, like their favorite all-time creation for the first time ever. And that's sort of how I feel right now. I feel like I'm, just bringing this to you. I'm so excited. It's, wow, it's incredible to think that this thing that's been in the making for really not that long, but for my entire life, if that makes sense. It's kind of, it's all really started happening sort of in the last 6 months. In the last 6 months or so really has when it all kind of just fired up, and the catalyst for me actually stepping into this, which is my calling, like this is my calling. So STARR Collective is my soul. It is my soul's calling. It is what I was put on this planet to do. It is my purpose. It is me allowing the divinity that wants to create its thing on this planet to create that thing. The catalyst for that, for me, really stepping into alignment with that, because I've been sort of on this journey with my calling, as we all are, for all of my life, and it's been reflected in so many ways and so many aspects of what I've done, work-wise, personally. On all levels, pretty much everything I have done up until this point has been about this and creating this. So it's really been, I've been creating it for my entire life. But like I said, the catalyst was I had a beautiful client approach me and ask about a course that she might be able to do in energy healing or something like that. And I started sort of looking around and pondering and thinking and reflecting on all of the work that I've done over the last 3.5 years in this space, in the healing space. And I kind of came to the conclusion that I needed to create something. I had felt compelled to create something around energy work. I was an intuitive energy healer before I was a trauma therapist. And now I'm kind of both, they go hand in hand, but that was my leaning before I moved into the more complex trauma resolution. So I felt compelled to create something. I have for quite some time. And then this client asked me about this, and I sort of went, oh yeah, I might be able to like create something around that. I just felt the need. I said to her, I've been feeling called to do something, so just leave it with me and I'll see what I can come up with. I intended to come up with, something that was maybe 11 weeks or so worth of work. That's kind of what I wrote out initially. And then as I started to create that more and more, I was opening to this alignment with the calling within. That sounds really kind of like out there. But, psychologist has written about this as well, and it is very real, and we are very compelled along our path. And I was feeling more and more compelled along mine. I started listening to myself. I started listening to all of myself, and I was terrified of what I was hearing sometimes. I won't lie to you. But in paying attention and in listening, and part of that was really aligning with my feelings as well. How was I feeling? And last year for me was a massive year of complete destruction and devastation of everything I thought I knew to be true about myself and the journey that I was on. I had all of these ideas. I had this vision at the beginning of last year, this very real vision of where I was going and how that was going to look. And last year, all of a sudden, all of that just disintegrated before my eyes. everything that I had dreamt of, that I had envisioned, that I had thought, this is where I'm going, you know, this is my why, and this is what I'm aligned with, and this is where I'm going, you know, and I would see it. I would close my eyes and I would see it. I would see myself with the group of people that I thought I would be surrounded by, and doing what I thought I would be doing, and practicing what I thought I'd be practicing, and teaching what I thought I'd be teaching. I'm like, yes, that's what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden, that entire thing just collapsed. It just toppled. It just took kind of one pivotal event and pivotal moment that brought up one pivotal story of mine, and everything just disintegrated. Everything, all of those visions were suddenly gone. Right. So that was kind of what happened to me last year at a very professional level, which had also become very much a part of my personal journey, because when you do this work is you. It's not, there's my job and then that's it, you know, and I come home and I disconnect, and that's not how it works. The work is who you are. All of the stuff that happened professionally had this massive ripple effect on everything, and I had to completely recalibrate. I had to disassemble everything that I had kind of thought I knew and reassemble it all. And in doing that, this incredible creation has come about. Like, you were just saying that, I was like, wow. This is the thing, we want our journeys to be this sort of perfect, you know, happy, joy all the time, kind of, yay, unicorns fighting rainbows. And it's not real and it's not true. And in fact, our most profound growth, and I don't want to call it growth because it's not even growth, it's just like our most profound moments where we step closer and closer in alignment with our calling, where we recognize and honor more and more our own divinity within. It is in those moments where we're kind of doing this, you know, we talk about ascension. That is ascension, right? That connection to our own divinity is our ascension. So, you know, when we reconnect with our own divinity, everything just kind of aligns. And this is what started happening. You know, I started to, and it was interesting because part of the disintegration of everything was what I had a tendency to do, and what a lot of us do, is we put other divinities up on a pedestal, whether it be a religion, whether it be an external God force, whether it be source, whether it be universe, whether it be whatever we call it, including other people's divinity, right? So we see other people's divinity and then we follow it cultishly and we become that, right? We try to appropriate their divinity almost. And this is simply because we're disconnected from ours. It's like our divinity wants to be recognized. And so it connects to all of these other divinities. Does that make sense? And it's really, really interesting because what is happening is, as we do that, we are putting these other divinities up on this divine pedestal, like we honor and we pay homage to and we worship at the foot of these divinities, you know, and we do it with all sorts of things. Like I did it professionally with people that were my teachers. We do it with religious leaders. We do it with religious icons. We do it with deities. We do it with all sorts of things. But very rarely do we put ourselves up on that same pedestal, and do we actually so that we're all there, right? This is the thing. If we're all up on the pedestal, then we're all there, right? Doesn't that make sense? Why wouldn't we all want to be there? Why do we aspire to a world where there are some of these like divine beings on their pedestals and the rest of us are kind of down here on the ground going, oh my God, look at your calling, it's amazing, whilst not recognizing our own? I was very much guilty of that, and I did it a lot. You know, I put a lot of people on pedestals. I put a lot of divinities within the people that I saw around me on pedestals, a lot of callings on pedestals, whilst ignoring my own and thinking my own not worthy enough. And I see people do it all the time. Like, people are doing it all the time. And really what STARR is about is allowing people to take the journey back to their own divinity, to honor your own divinity within, so that you can start to recognize and acknowledge and align with your calling. This is the ascension that we all aspire to, right? This is it. This is the ascension that we aspire to. It is recoding and recalibrating to our soul's calling. That is all we need to do. We are born onto this planet to make a difference. We all have a purpose. We are here to write our own beautiful story, weave our own beautiful story into this magnificent tapestry of collective consciousness, this creation we're all a part of. STARR is all about taking people on a journey to realign with their divinity, to realign with what I call the storyteller alchemist that we all have within us. We are all storytellers. I am incredibly blessed and privileged and honored and humbled and grateful and all the rest of it to bring this creation to the world. Like, wow. It is really simply about recognizing ourselves for the storyteller that we are innately born as and to be. We are here to weave our story into the collective tapestry, right? That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to be. It is that simple. All we have to do is align with that and be with that, and then create from that space. And I say all we have to do, yeah, it's a process, right? And that's the whole point of the STARR journey, to take you through that process and that journey so that you get to that space, so that you know that space in yourself, and so that you are sitting in that space aligned with your own divinity, aligned with your own calling, and creating from there, right? That is how we use the law of attraction. That is how we create abundance. That is how we create our best on purpose life, right? By being that, by being our divinity, honoring our divinity, recognizing it and working with it. Once I stepped into this myself, and let me tell you, I had the epiphany of all epiphanies, and it was on New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve at about midday, I saw something on Facebook that I can't even tell you what it brought up for me. It was just this rush of energetic charge around this story that I had been working on all year, right, to resolve and to integrate. And like I said, I'd already been creating this process at that point. I was well and truly, like, probably around November last year, this sort of all started. I mean, it's only really been in the last sort of, I would say, probably since the start of the year actually, where it's all kind of come to fruition and all just fallen into place in the most amazing ways. But the stuff that was leading up to it last year was phenomenal and necessary. And so midday on New Year's Eve, this thing hits me smack bang in the face, right? And I'm like, here I am, I'm on the brink, the cusp of a new decade, the 2020s. I know what this means. I know there is something big coming this year. I know I am meant to be aligned with that. I know all of this, right? I know I'm part of this, and I know I'm meant to be where I'm meant to be. And I'm like, suddenly this thing hits me and I'm put right back. I felt like I was put right back, right? And this is what a lot of my clients will say. Something hits them and they feel like they're put right back. You know, something hits me, boom, I'm back there. And again, this is why I've created this, because I want people to know it's not a process of going back there. It's a process of re-examining that story, because there is another element to that is going to supercharge your divinity even further, supercharge your creation even further, right? As soon as you transmute that element of that story that's sitting there still, you are going to make a quantum shift into this whole new reality of who you are, right? You are going to be, this is how we are the storyteller alchemist, right? Storyteller alchemy to me is transmuting the emotional charge of our past stories so that we create this energy that takes us to this quantum shift. It is this empowered energy that creates a quantum shift into our new being, right? Our new alignment with divinity, our greater alignment with divinity as this being that we are becoming more and more, ascending into more and more. Hopefully that makes sense. You know, this thing hits me and I'm like, holy crap balls, Batman. Like I remember I saw this thing, this post, and I was going out to get some stuff. Like I was going to the shops to get some stuff, and I drove to the shops and I sat in my car. It was like stinking hot, like it's Queensland on New Year's Day in summer. I've got the window down, like sweating buckets. And I've just got this stuff, right? And I'm like, and like I could just feel this sort of, I don't know what to do with this, and it's New Year's Eve and I can't bring it with me. I can't bring it with me. And part of me started to panic, right? I was like, oh my God, it's an old story. I'm bringing it with me into 2020 and I can't do that because I'm creating this new thing and I can't have this. And it was like, so there was part of it, it was a freaking out. And it was really interesting because at the same time I'm reading this book called The Soul's Code, right? And I've spoken about it and some of you have followed up on that. And that talks about our calling. And so at the same time as I saw this, I suddenly had this massive, massive epiphany about the story that I had been running and how I had been out of alignment, just that one misstep out of alignment with my divinity, because I was still over here putting other people's callings up on a pedestal and actually comparing, not just putting my calling up on a pedestal. This is the other thing we do. We compare our calling and our divinity to everybody else's. Mine's not as good. I'm not as worthy. Oh, that person's got more to say than I have. Oh, that person knows more than I do about that. Oh, but hang on a minute, I resonate with that, but they've got more knowledge on that subject. What have I got to say about it? Can you relate to this? Who can relate to this? And seriously, when we are running a business on social media, and I'm just going to put it out there, it is inescapable, right? There is just so much that you can compare yourself to. You are constantly in the path of everybody's callings, right? It's like, here's mine, here's mine, here's mine, here's mine, here's mine. And of course, because it's Facebook, right, social media, it will align you with the same sort of calling, right? So you'll be even more so tempted to go, hang on a minute, is my calling as good as that person's calling? It looks very similar. Oh my God, somebody else is already doing my thing. I can't do that, right? And so then we question ourselves. We question ourselves. We're like, oh my God, am I doing it right? That person's doing this. Should I be doing that? And we start to dilute our divinity because we are putting all of those other ones up on a pedestal. So hands up if this makes sense. That's what we start to do. And so I had this massive epiphany and realization. And in that moment, in my car, I had changed that story. And that is the power of storyteller alchemy. That is the power of being the storyteller alchemist of our own life. I took the charge that story created, and let me tell you, it created a charge. It created a charge that resonated over the entire 12 months that I had just experienced, and all of the stories that I had unpacked and worked through, right? And suddenly I was like, hit with it. So I took that charge and I turned it around. I turned it around by just simply, again, realigning and reconnecting with this awareness, this new awareness that I had about the divinity within. Now, I can do that because I've done so much other work to be able to transmute the pain of my past stories and to transmute the pain of my past stories. And that is essential. We need to do that in order to truly embody the storyteller alchemist, because really this is where our power lies. You know, we need to do that work so that we first of all really release ourselves, let go of the emotional charge of our past in order to transmute the energy of it. So we kind of need to take a step away from it at the same time moving into it. It's a really interesting process. And this is what the journey is about. This is what the STARR Collective journey is about. That's kind of an overview of how it was created. Now, I changed that story and I walked into 2020 with this incredible new alignment and connection with my own divinity, right? It's the only way I can describe it. It might sound wankerish, it might sound woo-woo to some, it might sound weird, might sound like I'm like, you know, going, oh, look at me, I'm God. No, it's it's not it. And we all have it, right? This is what I want people to know, is we all have it. If we all honor it and recognize the divinity within us, it doesn't matter then if you are black, white, red, brown, gay, straight, you know, anything. It doesn't matter what you are, how you identify, who you identify as. When we are honoring our own divinity, we are honoring everybody else's divinity. And therefore, there is no I'm better than you, or this way is better than this way. It just is. Everything just is. And when we honor the fact that we are here to create our own unique story from our own unique soul's code and calling, and when we realign with that coding and that calling, then guess what? What everybody else is doing, it just is. That becomes their journey, just as our journey is our journey. How can we think that we are here creating our own story and, you know, that is a divine thing to do, that is divine creation, and not honor that for others? It doesn't matter what it looks like. We are not here to judge that. We cannot judge that. We don't know. We don't know. We know our soul's code and our calling. We know our purpose. We know our story that we're here to weave, but we get so caught up in the stories of others. And this is the other process that happens, you know, in the paradigm that we live in. We take on so many cultural and social stories. We take on 7 generations worth of ancestral stories. And the next thing we know, we've got this freaking huge library. Like, how big is it? How many stories are in your library? If you think about, you've got 7 generations worth of ancestral stories in there. You've got the collective consciousness stories in there of humanity that we take on as our belief structures, culturally and socially. You've got all of that kicking around in there, and everything that you learned about yourself as you were growing up as a child. That's a lot of stories. And so we as humans really need to be the caretakers of our story archives. We need to honor not just the divinity within us, but also what it has created. And that divinity, right or wrong, left or right, whatever way you want to look at it, has helped to create those stories within us for a reason. They're all there, good, bad, or indifferent, because they align in some way with that divinity and that calling we have to create, because we have created those stories, right? Ultimately, they're a part of us, a part of our creation. This is really where this entire journey and process is so distinctly different to anything else that I have encountered, seen out there. It also utilizes everything I have learned over the last 25 years I've been practicing as a healer in all different guises, and a storyteller alchemist in all different guises throughout my life. It takes all of that into account, and what I have done is used all of the things that I have encountered in my journey, aligned with my calling, to create what I am here to create. And this is the STARR Collective. So the STARR Collective in itself is going to be a community of practice, and indeed a community of storyteller alchemists. You, me, anybody who joins this journey is going to be a part of this collective in this community. It is a tribe. It is a tribe of collective minds who are all wanting to see people in alignment with their creative calling, their divinity within. To me, this is how we create our heaven here on earth. And one of the big things that I've learned in the whole time that I've been doing the work that I'm doing is we cannot do this on our own. It doesn't matter how much we think that we're independent and I can do it all on my own. We cannot, and we are not meant to. We are not hardwired to take this journey on our own. We are hardwired to take this journey coherently, cohesively, as a collective. So really at the heart of STARR Collective is this idea of connection and community. This idea of a collective, as we are. We speak about the collective consciousness, but yet we all want to go away and do our own things separately and work it out separately and be independent. And that's great. We need that, but we also need to come together. And so this is what I want to create. I want to create, and I am creating, a space, a community where people are doing their own work individually, yes, to recognize their own individual uniqueness and identity, and to bring that out, to have the confidence, the self-love, the understanding, the self-awareness, the self-appreciation, the self-honor, to bring that out and share that with the world. I also want us to have a space where we are doing that together, where we are supporting one another in that journey, because it is huge. It's a big journey to take in this world. So that will sit at the heart and soul of STARR Collective, giving people the tools, giving people the capacity to be their own storyteller alchemists. So important to me, because, you know, I want people to be able to do this and to teach this and to have the ripple effect of this out into their communities and out into their worlds. And this is how we start to create this cohesion amongst our people, amongst humanity. We are all one big tribe, right? We're all part of the all. So really this is at the heart and soul of it. The journey itself is absolutely incredible. It's a 7-week journey all told, for really realigning and recoding the soul into the calling itself. So this is what we're doing, and a part of this, it sounds a little bit woo-woo and out there, right? But it's actually also based in, like I said, all of the stuff that I've been doing, learning, teaching, mentoring people in. I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes with mentoring others in this work as well at the moment. And the more and more of that I do, and the more research that I'm doing, I'm recognizing how we can really enmesh, you know, the science behind how our mind works, how our body works, how our brains, our heart, and our guts work, right? So part of this is the cohesion of self that we're creating in order to become that storyteller alchemist, the balance of self. We create that cohesion of self by creating a balance and a harmony between our brain, our heart, and our gut, which they now know scientifically makes up our mind. So our mind is the brain, the heart, the gut. It's not just the brain, right? It's the brain, the heart, and the gut. It's all connected. And so part of this is really working with people to reestablish that cohesion and that connection, the flow, right? This is how we align our energetic chakras. This is how we align our meridians. This is how we take our vagus nerve, sorry, I'm getting a bit excited, our vagus nerve out of, you know, hyperarousal and fight, flight, freeze mode. All of this is not just sort of, you know, spiritual out there woo woo. When I say storyteller alchemy, alchemy is not woo woo. It's as real as quantum physics, right? So we are able to transmute energy. We know this, and this is what this process is about. It's about changing our story to change our state, right? Change the story, change the state. Diane, this is a step after you've worked through your trauma or other issues. No, it is not a step after that. It is part of the journey, right? So part of the journey, thank you so much for asking that question. No, this is actually includes trauma resolution, because part of our stories are about the trauma, okay? They're about the trauma that parts of us are sitting in, are stuck in. But what happens is part of us gets stuck in these what I call trauma loops, and these are part of our stories, right? Past experiences that we've had that have put us into a state of fight, flight, freeze, and part of us is stuck there. This is also recognizing that that is an essential part of how we transmit the story. One of the reasons I'm doing it in this way is because I've seen a lot of stuff out there that with very good intention is just missing the mark for a lot of people. A lot of traditional therapies and even a lot of alternative stuff. It's just, you know, people will come to me and they're like, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried everything, and it's just not quite hitting the mark. And I'm like, okay, it is because we have not got to the foundational root heart of this foundational stories that are running these issues that you're currently experiencing, this resistance and inner conflict and turmoil that you're currently feeling, these patterns that you're constantly repeating. Until we do that, we're still stuck there. So this is really a part of the whole process. It's a big part of the whole process because it is the most integral thing that, like I said, we need to change the story to change the state, right? So, and there's a very specific way that we want to change the story around trauma, and particularly around complex trauma. Okay, so my specialty is trauma, as many of you will know, and I was doing a specific process around trauma resolution that's very effective. I have taken the principles of everything I have learnt about trauma resolution in my time working with clients and applied and seen how they have worked. So I've taken all of that and I've really gone deeper with this whole process, and really just a lot more comprehensive, a lot more, again, cohesive, the word comes in, and really, really robust process to create resolution around complex trauma in particular, and empower people over those past experiences that have created, you know, such an emotional charge for them. Again, transmuting the emotional charge of those stories. This is what it's all about. This is what it all comes back to. And it's because of the fact that we all connect so innately and instinctively to story. We are all defined by story. We all run from our stories. We all create our identity, who we are, based on our stories. Because we so innately and intrinsically identify with story, that's why this process is so incredibly powerful, because it takes us to that place that we connect to immediately. And we resonate with it so much. Like you said, Kate, it just resonates, right? Because it is who we are. And at the same time, it is all the potential of who we can become. When we recognize that about our stories, and we can change them, transform them from those identities we've been stuck in, those parts of us that are stuck in those traumas, to this, you know, who I am becoming, and how I can use what has, you know, been a part of my experience to become the divinity that I am, the creator that I am, and create my own life for myself without the charge of those stories defining who I am and my identity. Me actually taking the charge of that and going, you know what, I'm going to use that to transmute into this incredible being of creative power, you know, to do my thing, to do what I am here to do, to give this planet and share with this planet what I am here to share with it, then that's taking our power back. So that is really an integral part of the journey, Diane, is dealing with complex trauma. And like I said, it's my specialty. I have drawn so many women to me with such complex trauma. Some of the most challenging, tricky situations that I have ever come across. And as such, I really had to think outside of every single box, even the amazing ones that I had learned. I had to really start to think in so many different ways. And it was that experience of working with people in complex trauma that's really helped to grow and evolve this process, and this journey, which has really been, like I said, given to me. I feel, and even in my experience working with people with complex trauma, a part of that. If you have been sitting on the sidelines watching what I do for some time now going, I don't know, maybe this kind of resonates with me, I really, really want you to reach out. I'm going to give people an opportunity to take this journey for its ultimate launch, and that is, you know, the first ever time that this journey will be taken anywhere in the world by 8 amazing, as I said in one of my posts, like innovators. You guys, the 8 of you who choose to take this journey with me, the maiden voyage of STARR Journeys will be helping to create history. I absolutely have no doubt that this thing is going to be big. It's going to be huge. And everything that I put in my other posts, that just imagine what I see STARR becoming, that is absolutely the vision that there is for STARR. That is the calling I have to create that. It's not an exaggeration. It's not like a maybe. That is what it's becoming. And, you know, it is the calling, and it is happening. Sometimes in spite of me and my, you know, like, oh my God, holy crap, that's huge. Really? And, you know, also alongside me. So, you know, that is absolutely what I am here to create. And so I'm really, really super excited for that. It will be a test run. You know, we're all taking this free test run together. It's tried and tested, but, you know, in terms of clients outside of myself, outside of my beautiful colleague who's helped me to create this will be sort of the first test run. I know it's incredible. I know the profound results that it achieves, and I want 8 of you to share in that, and to be able to share your experience and be vocal about sharing that experience with the world, so we can get this out there. To me, this is something that we need. We need this individually and collectively. Part of this will also incorporate a youth program. So I actually have the most gorgeous, gorgeous friend and colleague from the United States. This is going to be a worldwide thing. It's also going to be a registered healing modality, and it will be registered for practitioners as well. But I've got the most amazing heart-centered woman who is already working with youth within schools, within mainstream schools in America. She's managed to crack that shell and get in there and already start working with youth with some incredible resources she's created around how we bring these messages of connecting to the divinity within and really aligning with the calling within to our youth. You know, this is how we create a society of acceptance among our younger generations, and they're already starting. You know, they're already starting in spite of us. We want to build that momentum. We want to bring this into schools, into mainstream schools around the world. We're creating youth programs. So we've got this very intentional vision for the STARR Collective. And the 8 people who come along on the start, you're a part of that. You're a part of creating that with us. And to honour that, I'm actually giving those 8 people this opportunity at half the normal investment, which is significant significantly less, and massive, massive value for what you get. It's more than just sessions. It's more than just therapy. It's not anywhere near talk therapy. It's not anywhere near just guided meditation or hypnosis or anything else that some of you may know me for and have experienced. It is everything. It is everything that is necessary to align you with that storyteller alchemist within. So there are many components to it. There are journaling components to it. You'll be getting a beautiful story in which to, a beautiful journal in which to rewrite your book as part of this process. Like I said, 7-week journey all up. And during that 7 weeks, the most profound transformation will occur. So I'm really, really excited. It's really important to me that this collective and this community is built on a very strong foundation. The most important thing for me is it's built on a foundation of integrity. It's built on a foundation of connection and acceptance, and the community that I really intend to foster. All of you who are a part of this community here know the kind of space I hold, and know that I am very, very serious about honouring the space for others and holding a space of integrity. To me, STARR is an extension of that. The community practitioners will be held in just as much honour and regard in terms of their divinity and their calling and what they bring to this, the evolution of this journey as we grow, as we all ascend and align more and more with our calling. If you are a coach, a healer, a therapist of some kind, a psychologist, anything really, a social worker, whatever you might be, counsellor, intuitive energy healer, whatever, and you really feel that you want to bring something extra special to your clients, and you want to be a part of something extra special, an incredible community of practice that is built, like I said, on those foundations of integrity, community, connection, then keep an ear out, keep an eye out, because I'm also going to be opening up, again, it's going to be the maiden voyage for a group of practitioners who will certify in this process as well. So the certification and training will actually be 6 months, and I'll bring more details to that as we sort of evolve and progress, but I'm very, very excited for that as well. I myself have been searching for a beautiful community of practice to align to, and I went, you know what, I'm just going to create it. So for those of you who resonate with this creation, with the STARR Collective, with the STARR Collective journey, for those of you who would love to become a master storyteller alchemist and help others to really step into their own power as the creative storyteller that we are all born as and to be, then yeah, you're welcome to connect with me, message me now. I want to kind of meet you halfway, literally halfway, because that is how I'm honouring you for being one of those incredible innovators who is going to step up and go, you know what, yeah, let's do this. Let's make history by creating that change that I want to be for myself. And that's how we create the change in the rest of the world. Thank you so, so much for joining me. There's so much more that I want to share with you about this incredible process. I want to come in here and kind of walk you through, what STARR looks like, all of the amazing things that are just bundled up into this incredible journey, all of the things that you'll learn. I really, really, want to share more of it with you. I could talk about it constantly. I think I'm driving everyone nuts at the moment because I'm just like, oh my God, let's talk about this again and again and again. Because it really, like I said, it's my calling. It's what I'm here to do. And yeah, it just feels amazing to be creating something so incredible and sharing it with the world. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey. I can't begin to tell you how amazing it is. And this is what I want for you. I want for you to align with that. I want for you to align with your calling. I want for you to feel that passion and that energy and that purpose, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You know, I say to people, it's not how big or small we perceive anything to be. Everything is big when it is ours and when it is aligned with our divinity. Our divinity is huge, it's wonderful, it's massive, it's infinite. So yeah, anything that you feel called to create, I want you to really be aligned with that. I want you to really embody that story, and I want you to share that with the world. So it feels amazing. It feels phenomenal. Not always easy, but holy crap, always worth it. If this resonates with you, please reach out. We can have a 30-minute discussion, go over details, answer any of your questions. I'm an open book. And yeah, I would love, love, love to hear from you if this resonates. Please don't hold back. If it resonates, reach out, okay? Nothing, no harm can come of it. No harm can come of it. And I really, really want as many people as possible to experience this incredible journey. So thank you again for listening in, for being a part of this creation. And I will see you again very soon. More ramblings about how we become that beautiful storyteller alchemist here in Wonderland. Thank you so much. Bye for now.